I was looking through some old certificates to see when it was that me and Shihan Nick started playing together, and I've gone back to '96, so that's 25 years ago, which is a little bit scary in my book. So yeah.
I would have been 5.
Thanks for that, Louis. Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
Cliff, I think, would have only been like 2.
This is why we
Gary.
Gary. This is why we distance train now, because otherwise I'd be thumping them at this point. Going,
Can you hear me okay?
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
Excellent. Okay. So to start off with, just a quick bit on terminology and about the sticks. Okay. The oldest of the stick weapons is the bow, which we generally call a bow staff, which is a bit of a misnomer because bow means staff, so it's a staff. But it's traditionally it was anywhere between 5 foot and 9 foot in length. Okay, so it was quite a weapon to wield on the battlefield, but eventually it got standardized down to what they call a Roku Shaku bow, which is a 6, Roku 6, Shaku's a measurement that's about a foot bow, so it was a 6 foot bow. So they standardized that. At the same time, they had the Joe, which was any stick that was smaller than a bow. Okay, which eventually got standardized to a 4 foot stick. Okay, so that's the bow and the Joe. 2 other words that you need to be aware of is, or rather prefixes, is Han, which is half, and Tan, which is short. So you can have a Han bow, which would be half of a bow, so it's a 3 foot stick. And you've got a Tan Joe, which is anything that's shorter than a Joe, which this is about 3.5 foot rather than 4 foot.
yeah.
Okay.
So
that's
bow could be a hand bow or a tan bow.
You can have a tan bow, which is shorter than a bow, but probably longer than a Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, so in general, you can talk about a 3 foot stick, which is a hand bow, or you talk about a somewhere shorter than a Joe but bigger than a hand bow, which is a tan Joe. Okay, so that's that confusion firmly set in your brains.
Thank you.
So with prefixes like that is how you can get things like tanto, which is the knife, which is basically short sword. Okay, so that's where tan comes from. Okay, so to start off with this, we're going to be nice and relaxed. Okay, we're not going to do anything that's particularly heavy. We're not going to do anything that's going to take out my light. I've tried to set the camera down a bit so you can hopefully catch my legs in as well, because a lot of it's going to be around the footwork. Okay, but the first thing we'll do is a bit of manipulating this. Okay, so to start off with, all we're going to do is I'll show you without the stick to start with. It's a bit of disco dancing, and you start with your hands together like this. You can do this if you want, or you can keep holding your stick. You start with your hands together like this, then one hand comes up here shoulder height and the other one comes down to here, and then the other one comes this way to here, and you do this. Okay. And then when you do it with the stick, you want the center of the stick round about where your hands are meeting like this. Okay, then you're going to push one side so it tips over. Okay, and the other hand's going to slide to there. So you've got the center of balance in your hand. The other hand is stopping it from tipping any further that way. Okay, then to get it to go the other way, you do exactly that. You bring your hands together, keep the swing coming over, and stop it with this hand. Okay, so it's nice and relaxed, and it just spins backwards and forwards like that. Okay, and this is the point where you usually drop it a few times, but and so it just spins backwards and forwards like that. Okay, so that's a quick way of getting to change ends. If you've got one end that you want to be hitting with, or you want to change direction when you're striking, it's handy, for example, if you're striking down like this to smash someone with it, and then you want to attack from the opposite direction, rather than take it all the way around here to come back and strike that way, you can come from here, switch to the other side, smack that way, switch to the other side, smack that way, and you carry on switching like that. And it's just that doing the hands, passing like that into the other side and strike. And he hits his light. Okay?
You got that first. Well done.
That's just there. That's just there. And if you want to practice it low, you can do it low, so we avoid hitting anything like that. Okay? But it just passes over between the two hands like that, into the other hand. This one slides down into here. Okay? So just swap and boom. So it's just basically just doing that. Okay? Okay. And that's if you're doing wide strikes. Okay? If you're doing shorter strikes and you're using the full length of the stick, then you have to do a different hand movement. Obviously with this, if we just push this forward into a target, then whatever the extension of this arm is the amount of power you're going to generate into the strike. Same as if you're punching. If you just punch with your arm, the power of your shoulder and your arm moving forward is all that goes into the strike. If you then push your hip into the strike when you do it, you add extra power in. And if you've got forward movement as you do it, then you stick even more power in. Now, if you've got this held in both hands and you want to strike with one end, then that will be just the movement of your hand. You can push forward from your hip as well. And if you step in, you get even a huge, get a huge strike out of it rather than just moving it with his. Okay. The other way you can add power to that strike is rather than holding it here and striking with that end, is if you're holding it here and strike with that end, because now this is moving a lot further, it's moving a lot faster, you get a more powerful strike. The problem is getting from here, a neutral position, into here, an extended position to strike with. And to do that, all you do is you move your hand to the end, this hand here, then lets go and slides as you move it out. Okay? So this hand is actually not connected, it's just supporting. This hand's doing that. Actually, you pull it back to the hip to do it. Okay? At the same time, this hand relaxes and moves down the stick. As it gets to that point where you're going to make impact, then you need to clench your fist and make a solid strike. But until that point, it's just sliding. Okay? So if we start from here, this hand slides to the end, then as you pull this hand down to your hip, this hand's going to push out in front, slide, until it reaches the middle. Okay? So we end up extended out like that. And coming back is the reverse of it. So we come from here, hand comes to the end, pushes forward to strike, and as it comes back, this hand slides back to this position, and this hand then slides back to there. Okay? So we come from here, 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 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay? And we can do it either way. Okay.
Excellent.
So that's how we end up with extending that. It's also handy for generating range if you need to be out of reach distance because you're stepping away from someone and you still need to be out of reach and you want to make sure you're clear. Okay. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go through footwork and the basic drills. Okay. So
Just wanted to get my charger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody got that? That's the easy bit. Now we're gonna, now that's the easy bit.
It doesn't get any harder from this point onwards. Really.
They just want to watch me fall
There we
over.
go, and that was that. So has everybody got that? It's all well done. Now all you've got to do is do it by yourself. You all right, Joe? Is it all plugged in?
Yeah, sorry.
Cool. Okay, so this is Happo Yabure no kame, Happo Yabure No Kata for the tanja. Okay, Happo Yabure, breaking in 8 directions.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's front, forward, back, left, right, and each diagonal. Okay, so the first direction we're going to move in is 45 degrees forwards over here. Okay,
Which side
and as
is
we
left
step,
or right?
sorry,
Which side, left or right?
it's my left.
Your left.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's flipping the camera or not, probably not. Yeah, so it'll be your left, stepping out to your left 45 degrees forwards. Okay, and as you step to your left 45 degrees forward, you're starting off from this position, nice and relaxed, knees slightly bent, stick out in front. And from here, as you step forward 45 degrees, this hand's going to come to your hip here. Okay, so your right hand comes to your right hip. As you step 45 degrees forwards to here, your hand slides to about a couple of inches short of the end of the stick. That's it to there. So you come from here to here. Okay, so as you're stepping, you then slide this hand forwards and this hand slides back towards you. Okay, so what you end up with is you step 45 degrees here and you do that. So you end up with one hand here, a couple of inches short of the end, the other hand here roughly around about the middle of the stick. Okay, so it's that slide we were talking about just now, where it comes to the end, this hand slides to the middle as you strike forwards. So this hand sliding as you're striking with the stick, trying to hit TV. Okay, so from here, we step forward 45 degrees, and this hand comes to the hip, this one comes forward, slides to the end, and we strike out here as we do this step. So we end up in this position, 45 degrees forwards, and striking here. So we've got an imaginary target here. Okay, and as it's coming in, we're striking here into the target. Okay, so this hand slid to the middle, this hand slid to the end, and we're here. And for there to come back, all you do is exactly the opposite. So this hand comes to here, this hand slides as we come back to the start position, and this one comes back to here. So we end up at equal position, about shoulder width apart, in a nice natural position to here. So that first position is there. Okay, striking in and coming back. Are we happy with that?
When you step forward,
If you were behind me here, I'm stepping forwards 45 degrees here and striking like that.
and is your back foot staying flat on the floor, or are you lifting the heel, or are you on the toes?
I'm lifting the heel,
Okay, thank you.
because then you get to push your hip in with the strike as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to generate as much power as I can get in. So if I go here, I'm there. So yes, I'm pushing back, and so this is all loose and sliding up until that point where you make impact, and then everything's got to be braced because you're hitting a target that's probably coming in the other direction.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so from there you step forwards and strike into there, and then you come back to there. Okay, so that's the first one. That's number one. Number two, this one's going to get you. It's the opposite direction, 45 degrees forward that way. And the same thing again. Okay, and then back. So that's one, and that's two. And that's one, and that's two. So again, it's sliding to the end, sliding to the middle as you strike forwards, sliding back, sliding back. When you step out the other way, this hand slides to the end, comes to your hip, this one slides and strikes in. Okay, so we're striking in and striking in this way. Okay, 45 degrees forwards to the left, 45 degrees forwards to the right. So from the back, we come in from here and back and here and back. Here and back, here and back. So we end up back at the start position. Okay. So next, third one is we're going to step back 45 degrees to the left. So from here we step back, we do that same thing again. Hand is going to slide to the end here. Okay. Hand comes to the hip, hand to the end here. We step back 45 degrees and strike here. Okay. So here 45 degrees, back there. And then we're going to step the other side 45 degrees and back there. Okay, so that's the first 4 all started. It's 1,
That's the furniture.
2, 3,
Have to move.
4. Okay, so the target's going to be right there in front of you. Bam. 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 When you're stepping back, bam. 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 There. Okay, looking good.
That was wrong. That way.
Looking good. So remember, these are 45 degrees you're stepping in because you've got somebody coming straight in along this centre line, and you're stepping off that centre line and then striking into them. Usually easiest target for practicing with is round about the armpit. So you catch the nipple or the ribs just here. Yeah. It smarts somewhat. And of course you're hitting with this edge of the stick, which is why mine are all rounded off. Because you catch people with that and it does. Okay, so 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees there. And then when you're stepping these back ones, it's not stepping straight back. It's 45 degrees out because you're trying to get off of that centre line with these strikes. The centre line. So that if that blow's coming straight in at you, you're moving off the centre line to get out of the way.
But still aiming at the centre line.
Yeah, this is where you're aiming the end of the centre line. Bam, bam. If you imagine you've got an incoming fist or an incoming sword and you're aiming at that. Okay. That's looking good. Okay, let's move on. So that's the first 4 positions covered. Okay. Now, all in all, there's 8 and then there's another 8. So we've got a way to go. Okay, but in the way that these 4 are similar, a lot of the others are similar. Okay, so then we've got our sideways techniques. We're stepping out to the side to do the technique. Okay, and as we step, what we're doing is it's like we're using a canoe. Okay, if you've ever used a canoe. And so we're coming here, this hand's still going to slide to the end. Okay, we're still bringing this hand to the hip here, this hand slides to the end, and then we're going to strike like that. As we do it, we're going to step to the side and we're going to strike whatever happens to be here. Okay, whether that's a fist coming in and you're going to hit it smack on top, or it's a sword coming in and you're going to hit that, or another stick and you're going to hit that. Okay, so this hand comes to the hip, we slide to the side here and strike. Okay, so it's striking that way. That way. Okay, so from here, stop like that, and we're going to hit whatever happens to be here, and then we come back. Okay, so that's to the sides there, and we come to the side there. And again, with make sure you slide the hand, so this hand's now in the middle, this one's near the end. It's not just with the stick.
Not just row your boat.
As you step, this hand's going to slide to the end, this one's going to slide to the middle as you strike down. And as you come back, this hand slides and this hand slides. I'm going to step out to this side, to there. This slides, this slides. As we're back in the middle.
We go.
Okay, so they're this way, bam, and this way, bam, 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 bam. Okay, so next up is number 7, which we're going to step forwards straight into the target. Okay, and as we step forwards into the target, we're going to take this, okay, and rather than slide with it, we're just going to keep it as it is. And from here, we're going to bring close to the body, and we're going to bring it up here. Okay, so we're ducking down underneath whatever's striking at us. Okay, and we're coming in underneath that and pushing this up into the target. And so from the side, we'd be coming, I'll start back here, we'd be coming in under the target and pushing up in here. Okay, and then back to the start. So it's here and then back. Okay, so it's left foot steps forwards, boom, in under here. Looking good. Okay, and the last one of the first 8 is from here, we step back, and as we step back, we let go with the left hand, and the right hand comes to here. And that's it.
I like that one.
So it comes from here to here. Okay, so aiming roughly where someone's throat would be. Just there. And that's the first 8. So we've got forward, 45, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Excellent.
Okay.
Easy as, eh? Right, should we run through these all? Because we've probably only got, looking at it, about another 2 or 3 minutes, 5 at the max before they get through it. So should we all try and go through these together?
Yep.
Do you want to call it out, Nick? You're in charge.
Okay, ready? So 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Yeah. Okay. So again, make sure we do it to the count. I'll do it facing that way. So as if you're standing behind me in the class, it's probably easier so you know which way we're stepping.
Yep.
Okay. And so if we step and do 1, is that way. Okay, so this end striking center of the target. And number 2, this way. Center of the target. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's it.
Oh, they'll do perfect when you weren't looking.
Yeah, pretty technical. Well, I'll do it again now this way round. So
Yeah, go for it. This will confuse
Keep
you.
going till we run out. So ready? So from the start position, 1, just to your left, and back, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. That's looking good. So say it again then. I'm trying to get all the little pictures in so I can see everybody. But then, once more.
Once more.
Once more. Yeah. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Excellent. That's it. We're there with the first 8.
Stunning. Thank you ever so much.
Just remember that.
We just about made that in perfect timing too. The warning's just come up. So thank you ever so much for that, Shihan.
See how we get on with this second 8. Okay, rather than launching straight into numbers 9, 10, 11, 12, but we've got the basic directions now, haven't we? That it's that way, then 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 that way. That's the same for the second 8, so there's no confusion there. But the footwork changes a bit, because before, when we're stepping forward 45 degrees with this foot, this time we're using the other foot, but we'll get there in a minute. So instead, what I'm going to do is we're going to start off doing the 2 side-to-side ones, okay, which will be 13 and 14. Okay, so starting off with the feet, because that's, as long as we can get the feet right for this, then we'll get the feet right for all the other directions on the diagonals. Okay, so all we need to do for the feet, if we're going to start off moving to our left, okay, we can start off, we turn our left foot like that. Okay, so we turn it to point towards our right, and then our right foot comes back to join it. Okay, with our knees still bent, and from there our right foot steps back to here. Okay, then on the way back, feet come together and we step out to here and twist that foot back again. Okay, so this foot moves first, this foot comes to it, then we step back to here, then we come back to here, and then we come back to the starting position again. Okay, are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're actually doing this, you don't step like this at any point and stand with your feet together. But this is the way I was taught, and it's the way to get your foot moving in the right direction first, so you're not trying to step off past your lead foot. Okay, that you turn the foot first and bring your foot past it, and you bring your foot close to it and out. So it's not actually step here, balance here for a bit, and then step back. It's your foot comes past this foot and out to here. So it's almost like you're clicking your foot, just to maintain that balance as you come through. And it also forces you to lead with your arse. Okay, because the quickest way body out of the way is lead with your arse, and the rest of your body's going to follow. Okay, but it's easy to start off with, to break it down like that. So you're starting off from this position, turn your foot, feet come together, this foot then steps back. Okay, and if we go in the other way, then this foot moves first, this foot comes to join it, then it steps back. Are we happy so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then we've got the movement with the stick. And with the movement with the stick, what we're going to do is we're going to keep hold with our right hand, okay, and move it up to there. Okay, so both hands move up to here and just turn to vertical. Okay, but the right hand's at the bottom when we're moving to the left. You're never going to remember that, but
Right.
okay, so we move to here. Then we're going to keep hold with our, I'll move that a bit so you can see both hands. We're going to keep hold with this hand, and this hand's going to loosen and slide down so they're a couple of inches away from the bottom. Okay, and then when we strike, the top hand's then going to loosen off, and we're going to do that to strike. And as we do that, the hand that's up here is going to slide with it. So we end up that we start off in this position, comes to here, this one slides down, then this one loosens up, and as you tip it forward, it slides to the middle of the stick. Okay, so this hand is sliding as we're striking down. And obviously as you make impact, you grip. Okay, so it comes down to here. And then we come back again the other way. So it starts from here to here. This hand then slides down. This one, as we strike, slides to the middle. And then we come back up to here. And then this hand slides back up to here. And then we bring it back to here. Okay, so it's vertical. That hand slides down. We strike out. This hand slides as it does. We bring it back up to here. This hand slides back to here. Bring it back to our starting position. Okay. Okay. If we move in the other way, then the other hand's down. Okay. And then this hand moves down, and then this hand slides and strikes, and it comes back to here, and it comes back to here, and we come back to here. Cool. So what we end up with these two sideways strikes is, as we move this foot, we start to bring this up into position. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring it so that, when we bring it round, we need to move as we bring everything into position. Okay, so these two have got to happen simultaneously.
There's the word.
It's going to get bloody tricky. Okay, because doing this is easy enough, but doing this bit as well, where you're going to come here and strike at the same time, is going to get tricky. Okay, so we'll do it in steps, but it's not really steps. You just need to do this in one fluid movement all the way through as you strike. But if we move to here and then bring this up, okay, then the hand slides down to the end. And then as we step back, this hand strikes to the middle and we come to here. Okay, and then we come back up to the feet together position. This hand slides up and we step back to here. Okay, okay, so here, 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 and here. So it's the right hand goes to the bottom when you're stepping back with that right leg. Okay, so your hand and your foot are pretty much latched together. This foot, this hand, moving together. Okay, so we're stepping back to there. But do it in steps so you get used to where this needs to go. And so the foot moves, this starts to move, we step to this position, hand slides down to the end, as we step back, strikes to here. Then we come back, feet come together, comes up to here, readjust this bottom hand by gripping on with this one, and then step back to start position. Then when we go in the other way, okay, this foot and this hand are going to stick together, okay, as we strike. And so from here, we're going to bring up to here, okay, and then we step round, hand slides, this one slides down and we strike. And to come back, we come up to here, readjust this hand, step back to the start position. Are we good with that? I'll plough on because you have to watch the video back. We won't have time to do it, spend too much time on bits and pieces. So when it comes to the diagonals, because the first one is across in that direction, okay, forward 45 degrees to your left. So what you need to do is it's exactly the same step, but when you twist your foot and step, you're stepping a lot further around because you want your butt going in that forward 45 degrees position. Okay, so that's why we did the sideways one first, because you get used to doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, but now when we do it, turn your foot further, bring your butt to here when you bring your feet together, so my butt's now pointing 45 degrees forwards, and I can just step back to there. The strike is exactly the same. So this hand and this foot stick together, and so as we're stepping around to here and bringing our feet together, we're coming up to here. This hand slides down, and we strike down to here. Then we come back to here, and then we step round to here. Okay?
Cool.
Forward 45 degrees the other side. Again, hand and foot are going to stick together. So from here, we turn our foot this side. Okay, so our right foot's going to turn, and this one's then going to come round to meet it. Our butt's pointing 45 degrees forward in that position. This hand comes up to here. This one slides down. This one slides forward as we strike. Okay, and then we're back to here. Okay, so then we've got backwards 45 degrees. Same thing, hand and foot are going to move together. We're going to move backwards that way to our left. Our right foot's going to move. Our right hand's going to stick to it. Okay, so we come to here, into this position, hand slides down, sliding back as we strike. Back to here. And then we step back 45 degrees to our right. So hand and foot are going to move together. Okay, so we then turn our foot, we step to here as this comes up, this hand slides down, this one slides to the middle as we strike to here. And reverse it to come back. Okay, so it's all the time we're turning almost our back to the direction that someone's coming from. Okay, it's with the first 8, it's generally a slower moving target. It's coming towards you, so you just want to intercept it and strike in to wherever that target is. But with these, it's a fast moving target. So rather than just moving slightly out of the way a bit, we want to step right out of the way and smack it. Okay, that's why these are big steps out of the way.
Big steps. Get rid of that.
Rather than just launching just as far as we can reach out, we're stepping right out that way. Okay, and striking down. That's the whole reason for these big steps. It's getting your body out of the way of a fast moving target that's coming through. And as it comes through, we whack it. Basically, that's it. Okay, so.
And so just to check, Shihan, these strikes all go up the centre line again, don't they? Like
Yep.
before, we were
Yeah,
knocking it out of the way,
it's-
centre
you've
line.
got-
These are all centre line as
Yeah,
well.
you've
so.
got like if you imagine you've got a stick or a sword or an arm or something coming in,
Yeah.
then you're going to strike whatever happens to be here. Whether it's an arm, a wrist, a sword, a head, a small child.
Pint glass.
Yeah. Okay, so whatever's coming in, you're hitting it down on top. Down on top. Okay. So then we've got the last two still to do, forwards and backwards. The forward one is pretty easy. Okay, from here we're going to step forward with our left foot as we did within the first 8 for number 7. For number 15 again is stepping forwards and in. Okay, but as we step forwards and in, this comes up to here. To here. When you lift it, rather than just raise it up, you want to lead with your wrists and flick it up. See, it comes up much quicker and you can flick it up into position. So you're blocking a strike that's coming in and you're getting it up there quick to bang, knock it upwards. Okay, so wrists lead and this flicks into position. Okay, to there. And then back to the start. And then you've got the last one. How long we having for time? Oh, we're okay. Okay, the last one. We're going to step back with our left foot. As we step back with our left foot, we're going to bring into position here. Okay, so we're going to do that tilting again. Okay, but we're stepping back with the left foot, and the left hand's going to be at the bottom. Okay, to here. Okay, so, but it's another one where we need to do movements as we step. So the movement is we're going to bring into this position. We're then going to make sure we're going to let go with the hand that's at the bottom, our left hand, and we're going to bring it all the way over the top, minding the ceiling. And as it comes down to here, it's going to catch it in this hand again. Okay? When it catches in this hand again, that's when we slide back and we strike down here, two-handed. Okay? So what we're doing is we're coming from here, we're coming into this position, we're letting go so it can slide past this arm, over the top, into this hand, and striking down. Okay? From there, when we come back into the final position, okay, this hand then, we'll make sure we've got that first. So, from here, okay, that hand down, here, into this hand, and starting in this position. Okay? So from there, here, hand and foot are going to move together. Okay? So hand and foot move together, comes across over the top, into your weighting hand. Okay? Grabs it here, and from this position, we do our final resting place back and hand coming down both at the same time. Okay, so as it comes across here, mind the light shade. As we come down, as we finally end up back in this position, we lower into our final stance. These all land together, so we end up with a solid strike. Okay, we happy with that? So here, there. Okay, when we get to this position, next we can take our hand back up to here. Okay, and we're going to take our left hand up here to our head. So from here to here. Okay, so we're still in our back position here, bring it to here. Then we're going to push with this hand and bring it over the other side and bring our feet together into that position. Okay, so here we're stepping out. Here, from here, hand slides up to make sure it's in the middle of the stick. Okay, pivot it round to here. So come from here up to here, and then push in with this hand forwards to bring it round to here, and then under the armpit. Okay, and then you're finished. So usually when you start this off, if you're doing all 16 in one go, you'd start from this position, and then you come to this position, and then you do number 1, and then you do number 2, and then you do number 3, and then you do number 4, and carry on through that. And then when you get to that last one, you come from here, hand comes down into this position here, and sink into the stance. Hand slides to the middle, up to the head, back to here, and upright. Okay.
So there's 16 moves in this. I'm going to need people to hold up
16.
cards so that I know how many I've done.
Yeah, but that's all of them. We've covered the lot.
Excellent. Right, there we go. No problem. So we just practice that for 40 years. You'll have it sus, guys.
Probably need to this and play it back and see where you're going wrong.
Yeah. From the beginning. Yeah.
So we're happy with, so when we do these, remember this second 8, number 9 is forward 45 degrees, same as the number 1's forward 45 degrees.
Yeah.
This one's forward 45 degrees, but you're leading that way. Yeah, and so number 2 is forward 45 degrees this way, and number 10 is forward 45 degrees that way. Okay, so the footwork's trickier. Rather than coming here, nice and easy, it's here. God, frozen wall, that was quick. That was quick moving. So we've got, and then we've got round here, and we've got round here, but always hand and foot together. So the hand and foot are always going together, whichever way you're striking. Okay, and then we come back, hand and foot, and back this way, hand and foot, and then we're coming forwards, flat, and back, and then the last one, when we come in here, rotate over into this weight in hand, sink back into the stance, and bam, there. Hand to the middle, up to here, back to the start, finished.
Brilliant.
Domo, thank you very much.
If you get this first time, I'd be brilliant. I don't think I've ever taught it to a group that's picked up straight away. It's always tricky.
There we go. There's a challenge then. We've got to get this sus.
So there we are, that's a lot.
Yep. We'll get this sus by the time we all meet up. And then we've got the kata from Dan. And then we've got the well, we sus. Thank you ever so much for this, Nick. Appreciate you taking time out to come and show us some bits so that we can keep practicing.
Cheers, Nick.
So that's at least one night's worth of free drinks you won't have to buy when we get down to Glastonbury.
2 nights.
So before we start, before we go any further, Cliff, can you hear me all right?
Yes, mate.
Excellent, good. It has been recognised that you've been doing the work since last year, since about the summer. I know the first part of COVID lockdown, you had trouble being able to do it because of work and life and things like that. And so unfortunately, Tony and Gary got graded by Hanshi and you weren't able to. But I mentioned it to Dan last week that I was looking at getting you graded and how we're going to do that. So Dan made a page up, got all the other instructors to have a look at your videos and have a look at the texts and listen to what I was saying about you, all clean, obviously. And so they've all awarded you your 5th Q. So you're now an orange belt. So I will contact you in the next couple of days to get your measurements, because I do like to buy my students their belts so that they've got a present from me for the work that they've done. So, so yeah.
ours, mate.
This is it. Still, still grandmaster size. So yeah, well done. Keep up the training. You've been doing good. I don't think we're going to have a proper grading until autumn of this year. So if that does occur, that means that you won't be able to grade, but it means you'll be able to come along and be a student anyway. So we'll have to see how Tony and Gary do as to whether or not they're up for grading. But once we get back to being able to get hands-on, I'm going to have to do an awful lot of Aikijitsu and Goshin Jiu-Jitsu to make sure you guys are up on level to where you should be for that. And then following on from this tonight, the next couple of weeks, we're going to start going over punching and kicking again and doing stretches in your house so that by the time we actually get back to the dojo, I can just walk straight in as if we've not missed it and get straight back to thumping the hell out of each other and getting more concussions. Sound good?
That's good.
Well, yeah.